Some parents find it very helpful to be legally represented at a hearing, but it really isn't necessary, and you shouldn't worry if you're not able to obtain legal representation for some reason, because Tribunal is an inquisitorial tribunal, and that means that we're entitled to ask all the questions on behalf of both parties, having had the papers in advance and prepared in the light of what we know the issues to be.
We didn't have legal representation. We had taken quite a lot of legal advice, but we represented ourselves.
I eventually went for legal representation, more or less at the last minute, because there were so many other agencies there putting their case forward, and I just felt that I was going to be not necessarily heard, and I think it needed to be legally represented, this particular case.
Based on our experience, it's not necessary for somebody to have a legal representation in a hearing in order to be successful. What is very important is that you have independent support and advice leading up to the tribunal, so you're very clear about what are the issues that need to be presented to the tribunal, what is the actual proof that you need to give them, what's the test they'll be applying. And this can obviously be got from national charities like HIPSI, condition-specific charities, maybe like the Down Syndrome Association, the National Autistic Society, or even local groups who can help and support and guide you through the process.
The panel also reads carefully through the papers, and from our reading we draw out key issues that we think should be gone into more detail at the hearing itself.
The tribunal can only consider the child's educational needs. They can't consider issues around respite or social care, or in some cases not even some of the medical needs if they don't affect the child's education directly.
The tribunal is completely independent. The tribunal members, the tribunal judges and the specialist members who sit on the panel are appointed by the Judicial Appointments Commission, itself an independent body set up some years ago by the government. So there's no question that the government can influence any decision that the tribunal makes. And the local authorities are completely separate from the tribunal and have no influence whatsoever.
It's very important as a parent to sit down before the tribunal, maybe a couple of days before, when you have all the evidence in front of you that you know you're actually giving and that the local authority are going to be giving, and make a list of the bullet points that you want to make sure have got over during the tribunal hearing itself. Then I'd suggest you basically go through those points, you tick them off, and make sure you've said everything that you want to say in the tribunal itself in order that you've got some ownership of the result at the end of it. There's nothing worse than coming out thinking, I should have done this, I should have said this, and this would have made a real difference.
Hearings vary in length. Some take a couple of hours, but others can take a whole day. So we do ask that you do set aside a day to come to the tribunal. If you wish to appeal against that decision that the tribunal have made, you've got 28 days to do this. Once the decision goes out, there's guidance attached with the decision. That guidance will give you all the information that you need to actually make the appeal to the tribunal.
Parents who attend tribunals admit that at first they felt fairly stressed. It is an important decision-making process for their child, and so that isn't surprising. But those of us who sit on panels try very hard to make parents feel as comfortable as they possibly can.
All tribunals will follow a similar process, so at the end of the day there will be enormous similarities with each tribunal. We have to remember that every case, just like every child, is unique, and so there will be some areas of similarity, but in each tribunal there will be differences.